Today we're doing a review of the Aer Slim Pack 2. This bad boy just dropped, but I've actually been using it behind the scenes as my EDC for the past week. So I got a lot to say. So in this video, I'm gonna take my experience of reviewing 500 plus of the world's best bags, and we're gonna tear this thing apart. I'm gonna give you my honest pros and cons. We're gonna pack the bag out. And if you're not 100% sure this is the bag for you, you're gonna wanna stick around to the end of the video because I'll make some alternative bag recommendations that are gonna be a little bit different to this guy, but similar, so you can see what the best options are on the market. Let's talk about the gist of the Aer Slim Pack 2. If you don't know, Aer is a carry brand from San Francisco, and they're known for making super modern, techy, kind of like dark carry gear. And the Slim Pack, as the name suggests, it could be like their smallest and slimmest pack. I mean, look at this thing. It's just a little guy. It's advertised at 9 liters, which we'll test out in just a second, which is gonna be way too small for most people out there for everyday carry. But if you do like the idea of a super thin, streamlined, sexified backpack, this is gonna be one of the better options in the market. Let's talk about some of its top features. It's got a very slim and sleek silhouette, a front fabric that has a smooth and weather-resistant coating, but I'll have a couple things to say about this fabric. We'll talk about that in the next chapter. We got 2 side handles and a top handle, a beautiful gray lining in the interior, a quick access top pocket, a main compartment that's basically all the storage, the admin area, the tech area, it's all in this 9 liters of space, and Aer's incredibly chunkalicious shoulder straps and back panel. As of recording, the bag is available in 2 fabric options, X-Pack or Cordura, but both are in black. The bag is advertised at 9 liters. Let's put that to the test. So I've gone ahead and filled out the bag with our measuring balls. And you can see here, this is 5, then 10 liters. We're coming in sort of between the two. So I'd say although it's marketed as a 9 liter, it carries more like a 7-ish. For the dimensions, we got a height of just under 17 inches, a width of 12 inches, and a base depth of just under 4 inches. For the weight, we're clocking in at 1.7 pounds. This is the bag when it's empty, and this is the bag when it's fully packed out and worn on the Nomads Nation squad. For reference, I'm 5'8", and our media manager, Margaret, is 5'2". And don't worry, we're gonna pack out the bag throughout the entire review so you can see exactly what it fits. All Aer bags are protected by their lifetime warranty against manufacturing defects. Now, this review is shot before this pack is released, so we don't know the final price yet, but the current V1 of this bag is priced around 115 USD, and usually Aer prices their V2s similarly, so it should be in that range. And if at any point during this review, you're thinking to yourself, damn, that is the super slim, sexified pack of my dreams, and you're gonna pick one up, we highly suggest doing so with the first link in the description below. Reason being, that link makes sure that you get the best price, and we oftentimes have discount codes. But that link also helps to support the Nomads Nation YouTube channel and team so we can keep making the best bag reviews on the web. Thank you very much. All right, let's talk about the front of the Aer Slim Pack 2. We always start this section by talking about the aesthetic, and I think that the slimness of the bag mixed with the frontness of the bag just gives it a really sleek look, which is why I think it's gonna be an ideal kind of like tech bro, entrepreneur, businessy pack. Like if you're in that trifecta, like this bag is the sweet spot. And it's got some wrinkleage going on in the front for volumetric and capacity reasons. We'll talk about that in the next chapter. But that look kind of makes it not too serious. It says, hey, I like to be formal, but I'm also here to party. And a lot of what is contributing to that is the fabric or the fabrics that are being used. Aer always uses Cordura ballistic nylon. Cordura is one of the best fabric weavers or manufacturers, whatever you want to call them. But if you want the highest quality fabrics in the game, you go to Cordura. And nylon is amazing for bags because it's extremely abrasion resistant while being fairly weather resistant and just having a great look to it. Now we're using 2 separate fabrics on this bag. This is a 1680D Cordura ballistic nylon, but the face, the primary fabric, is an 840D, which unless you're like a super hardcore bag nerd won't matter because they're both really high quality nylons. But one thing you should be aware of is that the front facing nylon, the 840D, is finished with a durable weather resistant coating. And sometimes weather resistant coatings can peel. It's not a guarantee. And I will give Aer credit. I read every comment this community ever leaves. And there's certain bags that peel. For instance, Aer PU coated zippers can definitely peel. But I haven't heard much of anything about this actual face peeling. So you should be in the clear, but it's just one of those things that I always gotta point out as a bag reviewer. It's my duty, okay? Aside from that, with the aesthetic, Aer's branding on the side here, super subtle. Now let's talk about this top pocket right here. It is accessed via a YKK zipper. Double check that, yep, YKK. Just like Cordura makes the best fabrics in the game, so does YKK make the best zippers in the game. In fact, it's one of the greatest things about Aer is the quality of materials they're bringing to the game with the price point that they're bringing into the game. Because like, I'll be honest, their bags aren't that expensive by industry standards. I mean, you can get the City Pack Pro for like 210, I think it is. So I will just commend Aer. One of the best parts about them, just top-notch materials and not always charging top-notch prices for it. It's expensive, don't get me wrong, but it ain't that expensive. Anyways, YKK zipper gets you in. We got a basic pocket that reaches down to about here. Now, I'm a little disappointed because Aer used to line these pockets with a really nice microfiber material, like a really fuzzy, soft material that has anti-scratch properties. But this is like a little bit more of a plasticky kind of material. It's still soft, don't get me wrong, it's still nice, but I prefer the microfiber because I always put my sunglasses in a pocket like this. And microfiber and sunglasses go together like techno and Germans. I just made that up. It's not a saying. I was gonna say tacos and tequila again, but I do believe Germans like their techno. If you're German, please verify for me in the comments if you're a fan of techno. So unfortunately, no microfiber lining there, but if you use this pocket for other smaller bits of gear like your AirPods and wallet, you won't need the microfiber lining. And the lighter color is quite nice because it helps to create a bit of a highlight effect in the bag. The pocket's not too tight, but it's tight enough as to where it'll just help you find what you put where, especially on those darker nights. That's it for the front. Let's talk about the middle of the Aer Slim Pack 2. Starting with the bottom, one thing to know, Aer has done a pretty masterful-ish job of getting this bag to self-stand given how slim it is, right? Because a self-standing bag, first of all, it's kind of rare. And second of all, to self-stand, it needs a base, right? And this bag is so slim as it doesn't have a great base, like in terms of like the actual real estate of the base. But even having said that, it still self-stands pretty well. Not perfectly, it's gonna depend on how you pack it out, but for the size, I'm very impressed as to how well this bag self-stands. Notice on the sides though, there are no side pockets or water bottle holders. And Aer can't be held accountable for this. Reason being is this bag is small, dude. Like, look at your average 1 liter water bottle. Like, it's bigger than the freaking bag is, even for smaller water bottles. So this is not a situation where Aer could have put a water bottle holder there. Water bottle holder, it's a tongue twister. So that's gonna be a deal breaker for some people, but for others, I think if you're watching this review, you're looking for that sleek, businessy backpack, the lack of a water bottle holder will actually be, more of a benefit because you got that nice sleek look. But on the flip side, one thing that takes away from the sleek look are these side handles that our media manager, Margaret, is not a fan of. Right, Margaret? She don't like. Aer recently updated their city bags with these side handles, which are a little bunny earsy to some people's opinions, mine sort of included. And I'm a big no-go when it comes to side handles on an everyday carry backpack. I don't see the need. I'm not carrying it in briefcase mode, unless it's designed to be in briefcase mode. Like let's say like the nomadic backpack. That one kind of looks okay in brief mode, but this thing, no, like this is not meant to be a briefcase. So I don't need side handles. I'm not mountain climbing with this backpack. But if you like side handles, you'll be smitten to find out that they are really beautiful. Amazing nylon webbing here, really high quality, silky, the same material you'd find on a seatbelt, and really well padded as well. Let me hear your thoughts, please, on the side handles. Do you like their inclusion? Or are you with Margaret and myself where you think it, no. Like it would've been so much sleeker without them. But I will say I'm a fan of the handle on top. Every bag needs a handle on top just in case. Same situation here, well padded, high quality materials. I approve of this handle. The other two, not so much. Let's get into the main compartment. We have 2 more YKK zippers, but these are utilizing Aer's signature zipper pullers that allow you to weave them into each other, therefore creating sort of a theft deterrent mechanism. It isn't gonna stop a thief outright, but it can potentially buy you time. Now, one thing I don't love about this bag is it's not full clamshell opening. Not that a bag this size actually needs it, but there was no reason for them not to, right? No water bottle holder here. I guess we have the Aer logo, but that could have been put somewhere else. I don't know, I just would have liked it if this bag did give you that full access into the main compartment. Now in the main compartment, we have a bunch of organization. On the front flap, we have a lining sleeve, a zipper pocket, and 1, 2, 3 stretchier lining pockets, followed by a stretchy lining pocket here as well, and the laptop sleeve, and some volume balls. We're gonna be finding these for weeks. All right, I got a bunch of EDC stuff. We're gonna pack this bag out, but first let's talk about tech protection. Because Aer, as a techie urban company, does a great job with tech protection on their backpacks. This is a cutout of a 16-inch MacBook Pro. Let's see if it fits. Ooh, we're just barely gonna get that in there. So you're not gonna get larger than a 16-inch MacBook Pro. But the good news is this padding is extraordinary, both on this side and on the back. We've got a little bit of a false bottom right to about here, and this means that the bottom of the laptop compartment is raised, it's elevated. So if the bag slams on the ground, laptop's okay. And one more thing contributing to a delicious laptop carrying experience is this microfiber material right here. That, fun fact, Aer used to put in this pocket, which I much preferred. But you can't get everything. But one thing to keep in mind is although the laptop is very safe in a bag like this, it can be a little annoying to access. Two reasons why. One, you can see right here where this panel for the main compartment actually covers the laptop. Now it's not the end of the world, but you know, to grab it, you gotta kind of move the bag around a little bit, especially for this larger laptop. I will say though, when I used my 13-inch MacBook Pro carrying this bag around for the past few days, overall it was pretty easy to grab. You just kind of go in there and you're gonna get caught sometimes. But overall, it's a nitpicky thing. It wasn't the end of the world for me. But the second thing contributing to the lack of access is the laptop compartment is inside the main compartment. So when this bag is fully packed out, it can get a little tight in there with all the things you have going on. Let me explain. I'm gonna throw my tech pouch at the bottom of the bag, book in the sleeve right here, over the head headphones, an umbrella, and you can see, you know, main compartment, that's gonna be about it. Now we have the organization on this side as well, but one thing to know is the way that this bag bends. We're getting the bend right here, which means that if you have something in this pocket, that bend is going to get compromised significantly because the book is right here. So when I was trying to get that full opening, it just kind of, you know, was compromised. That was the right choice of word. Go with it, Aaron. And that can also extend to these pockets. Let's say you want to put your sunglasses in there right here. You just got to be careful because watch the sunglasses pop out. They moved a lot, right? They were a little bit further down because the pocket is actually here. So just keep in mind, with a bag like this, it's small. You didn't get the full clamshell opening, so some of the things on this side are going to get compromised. But more or less, I found it a pretty joyful experience to use. Keys and chapstick in there. In the zipper pocket, you've also got a key leash. Not my favorite location, it's not a quick access key leash. And there's also a little AirTag slot right here. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and throw my book in, a little tripod for some content later. And remember, we're at, 7 to 9 liters, depending on how you measure the volume. It's not a lot. And for me, I quite struggled using this as my EDC. It really forced me to go hardcore minimalist, essentialist to the 10th degree. But that does create a very freeing and comfortable wearing experience, which we'll talk about in the next section. But before I do, I gotta tell you, if you're really enjoying this super nerdy, but super interesting deep dive into the Aer Slim Pack 2, then you might be smitten to find out that here at Nomads Nation, we don't just do bag reviews on the YouTube channel, but we also have the Nomads Nation newsletter. And in that newsletter, you can look at me like you're a reporter in the field, where I'm on the front lines telling you what's happening in this incredible world of EDC and travel gear. So if you wanna keep your finger on the pulse of what's happening, I'm talking about the newest drops, limited edition collabs, plus access to our discount codes and giveaways. If you want all that, then you're gonna wanna sign up for the Nomads Nation newsletter, which you can do by finding this globe emoji in the description below. Hope to see you in your inbox. All right, let's talk about the back of the Aer Slim Pack 2. And before we do, let's talk about that self-standing. I really decked this thing out and the self-standing, not a thing anymore, right? So keep that in mind. And also it makes sense. This thing is slim. The base is so small. I'm surprised it can self-stand at all. But one thing I'm not surprised about is just how freaking comfortable this backpack is. Because that is, in my opinion, one thing that Aer does best. I mean, these shoulder straps, the back panel, it's got it going on. With some caveats you gotta be aware of as well. First though, let's talk about the luggage pass-through holder because I do think this bag would make an exceptional suitcase companion. You can see right here, the luggage pass-through holder connects via Velcro right there in the center, which helps to keep the pass-through itself nice and flush when you're not using it. I'll be honest, I'm not crazy about Velcro on bags at this price point, but it is quite a functional thing sometimes. So I'll let it slide now. And speaking of slide, we want to slide it right on. Oh yeah, this goes in the bin overhead, and then this is underneath the seat in front of you. Not taking up too much space, organizing what you need. It's a good luggage pass-through holder. We're not pulling too hard I'm not afraid the sewing's gonna pop out. Overall, I'd say pretty flawless execution from Aer with that. Okay, now back to the comfort. You can see that we got some beefy shoulder straps. As to where we've got almost 1.5 centimeters of depth, which for me, I'm a big fan of, but also it's important to keep in mind, it's not everyone's cup of tea. For instance, my sister, who ironically is the host of our sister channel, Gear for the Girls, she doesn't love Aer bags and chunky shoulder straps on bags because it's a lot of fabric and it's thick and it's like oppressive and it's like here, you know? But for me, I'm usually carrying a lot of tech gear, a lot of heavier stuff, so I really appreciate these shoulder straps. I don't appreciate them, I freaking love them. I often refer to them as the Aer mattress experience. They're just very, very well padded and they got a really nice structure to them as well. I just think that they're amazing. But wearing this bag over the past week, I did find Aer's mesh to be a bit more on the scratchier side than I recall. Granted, I haven't worn an Aer bag for my EDC in a while, so maybe I've been used to more like silkier linings of bags recently. Pro of a fabric like this is it's gonna breathe very well. Look at all the little holes of ventilation, but it's also gonna have a nice little grip to it, which means like it's not gonna be sliding off your shoulder every time that you kind of like readjust. But on the con side, mesh like this is coarse. And if you're wearing like an unbound merino shirt like this, something that doesn't take abrasion quite as well, you might end up cutting into those shirts over time. Sternum strap, we've got a dangle stopper, same here at the bottom of the shoulder straps, keeping no Dan Dangle happy. Protest somewhere else, little guy, you're not needed here anymore. And yeah, I mean, overall comfort of this bag for me, just an absolute perfect 4.5 out of 5. I do think that the coarseness of the mesh, not personally my favorite, but guys, it's a 8-liter backpack. It's not gonna be super heavy. This is just a bag that feels great to wear. But it's important to keep in mind that everyone's body type is different and everybody prefers different things in regards to comfort when it comes to backpacks. So if you want somebody else's opinion on the comfort of Aer bags, I suggest asking that in the Nomads Nation subreddit. We got one of the biggest communities of bag nerds there, and someone should be able to help you out, whether it's a question you have about Aer or really any backpacks in general. Let's wrap this review up by talking about the overall pros and the cons of the Aer Slim Pack 2. Pro number 1 is its sleek aesthetic. Pro number 2, super comfortable wear. And pro number 3, I think the tech protection on a bag this small is actually really impressive. But I got some cons as well. Con number 1 is for an EDC bag, you're definitely getting a lack of quick access. Con number 2 is gonna be the compromised pocketing, especially when it comes to the opening of the main compartment. And con number 3 is the lack of external water bottle holders will be a deal breaker for many people. But if you're still watching this, there's a good chance that the pros have outweighed the cons for you. And if that's the case and you're gonna make a purchase, just a reminder, we highly suggest doing so with the first link in the description, as that link just makes sure that you get the best price, and if we have any discount codes, that's what they'll be. But there's also a good chance you might be sticking around to hear about those alternatives I talked about earlier in the video. Let's chat about them. First up, if you're new to the channel, I highly suggest watching the Nomads Nation leaderboard video. This is where myself, our media manager Margaret, Marissa's from Gear for the Girls, our head of content Tab, we all get together, a bunch of gear nerds, and talk about our favorite bags in different bag categories. It's a great way to know what the best options are on the market for different use cases, because we all like different kinds of bags. But let's say we're pretty close with the Aer Slim Pack 2. Here's 2 specific alternatives that might be a bit more up your alley. Alternative number 1 is going to be the Osprey Arcane 10 liter. This is a great pick for you if you're looking for a smaller backpack. The Arcane is 10 liters, but you don't need something as businessy or formal, and you want to prioritize a bag that has quicker access, as the Arcane has this really cool like pocket that you can just swing around and grab things quickly from. And honestly, it's one of my favorite small backpacks of all time. And also, if you're looking for a small backpack and you want to see what else is on the market, you should definitely watch our best small backpacks roundup, which I've gone ahead and linked above. An alternative suggestion number 2 is going to be the Alpaka Bravo Totepack. Great pick for you if you're looking for a smaller bag, but those external water bottle holders are a deal breaker. The Alpaka Bravo Totepack has one, it's a bit smaller, but it's still an external water bottle holder, and it's got a ton of awesome features, including the ability to be carried like a tote, stowable shoulder straps, and a bunch of other awesome stuff. Honestly, all 3 bags are great. They just got their own unique set of pros and cons, and you gotta figure out which pros and cons work best for your needs. And to learn more about the alternatives, just go ahead and watch these videos right here. If you got any questions about any bags, be sure to let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Aaron. This is Nomads Nation, and we'll catch you next time.